cozy?
Not really, actually. I don't normally sit up in bed. I normally lie down, but here we go.
Welcome to my very, very first episode of Pillow Talk. Now, I created Pillow Talk because I basically wanted to create a space where I could talk openly, honestly, and freely with my biggest inspiration, who is my husband. And he is a wealth of knowledge. He's an entrepreneur, a biohacker, a musician, a dad, an amazing husband, a beautiful friend, and a whole bunch of other things. And we always joke amongst our friends that everything Nick touches turns to gold. He's one of those annoying people that is really good at everything. So annoying. But I'm so excited for you guys to get a little sneak peek into our lives and some topics and intimate conversations that we really love talking about, things we love talking about. And I thought there's no better way to kick off the very first episode of Pillow Talk than with Nick's latest creation, his latest music video, which is called Bones. Now, this is another beautiful, freaking beautiful masterpiece that he's poured so much love and heart and soul and intention into. And it's just freaking amazing.
I never saw the metaphor. I'm taking all the hits head on and on. I feel it in my bones. In my bones. In my bones. In my bones. Ooh, I feel like it's time to.
So tell us a little bit about Bones and what was the inspiration behind it?
Do you remember in our last interview, I stopped and said, I've got to move your hair from the microphone?
Oh no! Is it doing it again?
I'm such a perfectionist. I'm sitting here watching your hair. I'm like, I can't bear it anymore. No, it's okay. I'll leave it.
Another thing about Nick is
Perfectionist.
he's a perfectionist.
It's so hard.
Do you struggle with this daily?
I do. I do struggle with it, actually.
It's really annoying, just saying. No, it's good and annoying. It's good and annoying. It's good.
It's a strength and a constraint.
It is, absolutely. But tell us, how is being a perfectionist and creating art? How do you do that?
It's an interesting process when you have, it's not just you. If you're doing a painting, you can just paint what you want to paint. But when you're doing a collaboration with other artists like directors and cinematographers, then you have to trust their instincts as well. And my director and I, James Chappell, who's directed all of my music videos, this one in particular is a real step up. No, not a step up. I mean, it's consistent with what we've done, but artistically, it's a challenging one. And we both we do knock heads, but we eventually find that sort of common ground where we're both happy. There's always things that I'd take out, always things that he'd put in, but you just got to find that space and then let go. And I try not to overanalyze my music videos. I am thorough in the planning of it, in the conceptual planning of it with James. And once we get into the edit, I come in and I just give a couple of hours and that's it. Lock it down, done. And move on. Otherwise, I used to have it written on our window, if you remember, perfectionism is fear, because it stops you from ever actually putting something out. And so I've got better at just letting go and just putting it out. So it's got its pluses and minuses, I guess, but you've got to learn to manage that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's chat about, you're a biohacker. Can you tell us, first of all, for anyone who's never heard that term before, what the heck is a biohacker?
Well, Dave Asprey from Bulletproof said it well. He said it's getting control over things that you shouldn't have control over. And I think that's consistent for a lot of the things you do, but there's also a lot of things that you do every day, like sleeping, for example. Where I think you should have a lot of control over that because it's your environment and you can set things up to be optimal. So, but that's one definition of biohacking. Yeah, it's really, you're testing a lot of stuff on yourself and finding out how to perform better and be better.
So I want to talk about biohacking your body and health, because there's like a common theme I'm seeing in your music videos is like this no shirt business.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
It's not happening again. It's the last time.
Yeah, right.
It's not happening again.
Yeah, right. I don't believe it. But it's definitely something that, you know, you like to have your shirt off. That's cool. I mean, if you've got it, flaunt it. Why not? But how do you, you know, you're almost 38. How have you stayed in shape using biohacking? Like, you've got 5 of your top biohacks that you can share with us today that have really helped you not only get physically in shape for this video, because I know you did a lot of prep for it, but just in general. Do you have 5 that you can share with us?
Sure. I mean, I think that these are things we're all doing, but there's probably a new level that you can take it to if you can be bothered. I mean, for me, it comes easily because I'm sort of mildly obsessive about performance.
Just a little bit.
Mildly obsessed. I like to be able to perform at my peak. And for me personally, I'm actually coming out of a period of... I'm still actually working through stuff that I did to myself 8, 9, 10 years ago. And...
What was that?
I had a massive exposure to mold. I think I've mentioned it before with your audience. And that really... actually almost killed me. And I was bedridden for 3 years. And it's one of those things that's so bloody hard to get rid of. I'm still working on that, but very, very close to having all of that out of my body. So biohacking for me became a necessity. Like, I had to learn what the hell is going on in my body because I was falling apart. So, and there's also a very long case of chronic Lyme disease, which just growing up in the northern beaches, getting hundreds of ticks and, you know, these things which you just pick up in life. And eventually, for me, I got to the point where I'm a dad, I have a 10-year-old son. I want to be thriving at 70, 80, 90. We'll have children or a child.
Yeah, we'll see.
One day. And these are the sorts of things we're working on before we have a baby. And so it sort of started back then because I had to figure out what the hell went wrong with my body. And now it's just become a process of fine-tuning and getting myself into a consistent state of peak performance. And you really notice it when you're in this sort of creative state where you have the demands of physically preparing for something like this. I was training for 2 months beforehand with a professional fighter, Igor, who actually is my nemesis in the music video. He is a professional actor, a professional stunt actor, as well as a professional actor and professional fighter. And the training is really, really brutal. But it got me into great shape and made me look somewhat like a fighter, which was good. And I... now what I'm doing is just an extension of the stuff that I did when I wasn't well, and it's just about constantly getting better and better and better. So I think if I had to talk about the top 5, if that's what you want, start with the basics, because there's a few things you can do which will make the biggest difference in your life, and something which you and I are really particular about, and that's sleep. In fact, if you look around us right now, because we're in bed,
This is actually our bed.
This is our bed.
By the way, we've got organic bamboo sheets and we're on the floor because we want to feel grounded. And a lot of bed bases, sorry to interrupt you, darling.
Go for it.
A lot of bed bases have metal frames, which are full-on Wi-Fi magnets, aren't they?
Yeah, they literally act like an aerial and they pull the Wi-Fi around you into your body when you're sleeping, because most mattresses have springs in them, so when you're sleeping in any normal mattress, you're literally sleeping on an antenna.
That's good, isn't it, guys? It's really good. So, you know, we've had those sorts of mattresses before, which we got rid of, and that's why we now have this beautiful king bed on the floor. which is really grounding. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, so actually, funny enough, if you look around us, you can't see what's on either side of us, but everything we're on has been given to us, which has been a blessing. But because people wanted us to test out, I guess, the latest stuff, and things like, organic bamboo sheets, they actually make you sleep better. They actually do.
It's true.
They feel so damn good when you get into them. Sheets are incredibly important. Pillows are very important. We haven't really hacked the pillow yet. Well, that's our next thing, but...
We're waiting for a Samina.
Yeah, so we should talk about that, actually. I think people will find interesting that there are levels of beds. I mean, they make such a big difference. The one we're in was given to us by a company called the Sleep Republic, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And it came rolled up as a roll. A tube. It's the most bizarre thing, and you cut it open and it springs. It's a hugely heavy thing, and it does have springs in it, but it has a heavy natural latex topping which covers you a bit from the Wi-Fi aspect. And we're on the floor, so it's grounded, and as you said, there's no metal in the bed, and better feng shui. So there's a whole sort of thought process that's gone into that.
We also have an earthing sheet underneath.
We have an earthing sheet on the bed as well. But the next step for us is going to be what's called a Samina sleep system. And we've been talking about it for about 12 months, and they cost as much as a car.
It's about $30,000 or $40,000.
Yeah, they're very expensive. And one of our friends and fellow podcasters and health
gurus
is Daniel Vitalis, and he spoke about when he finally, after 10 years of
looking at
this Samina sleep system, finally got it. And I'm sure you'll put this in the show notes for people. And then he finally got one and just said it's literally changed his life, because when you're getting that much better sleep, everything changes. And we get a lot better sleep in this bed. I mean, getting to a king was a big thing for us because we love cuddle, but at the same time, when we first met, we actually always used to share a pillow.
One pillow.
How cute.
Now we don't. We're like, get away from me.
Now we're so into our sleep, we...
You should see what we do.
It's pretty funny. We have a full-on routine, but once we have the most important thing, which is,
connecting
at night. Actually, let's just say having sex. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. It's incredibly important. And once we have that connection, we move, and we literally. Oh my God, it's crazy. I strap on what's
it should be here.
People who watch Melissa's Instagram would have seen me joking about this thing. I literally...
This is called a Delta sleeper.
Straps here on my collarbone.
But that's not it, ladies and gentlemen.
It sometimes goes here, depending on how badly I want to go to sleep and get deep sleep. This thing, it's actually amazing. It emits delta brainwave frequencies into brachial plexus here, which goes into your brain, or if you're really feeling geeky or when Melissa's away, just put it straight on the third eye, because that's where it's really at. And literally, I've been monitoring my sleep with a thing called an Oura ring, which we can link to.
Is that over there? No, it's not here.
I've got a new device coming soon called a Whoop. I haven't told you about it yet.
When did you get that?
Ages ago. It's in beta. You wouldn't even know about it. And I monitored my sleep before and after using this thing, and my deep sleep and my REM sleep went right up. And I started feeling a hell of a lot better in the morning from this little device. It's about $400 US. I mean, it's super geeky and expensive. I like it.
But that's one of the biohacks. We've also got the Sleep Master eye masks.
Let's just put it on. Let's just take it all the way.
You're going to ruin your hair, dolls. Yeah.
If you're listening on the podcast, you've got to go and watch this video on YouTube, because it's just, I look so cool right now.
You do. Yeah. So we both put these on every night, and I wear earplugs underneath those. We've got a Himalayan salt lamp over there. We've got some lavender essential oils that we sprinkle all over our bed.
And we've got Rudrashka beads, which have been blessed by gurus.
And we've got crystals. Yes, they actually have.
They have, yeah.
We've got crystals. And over there in that corner, we've got an Air Oasis air purifier that we put on a couple of hours before bed to really purify all the air in our room. And that's it. That's all we have in our bedroom. There is no chargers, there's no TV, there's no iPhones, there's no iPads, there's nothing. This is literally it. There's a chest of
Technology-free.
drawers just there with some photos on it, and that is it. Because if you want to hack your sleep, which, like Nick said, is one of the best things that you can do for your health and your physique and your body, you've got to really create the space and the environment first. So looking at, you don't have to go out and buy a freaking Delta sleeper. You don't have to do that. But just maybe thinking about your bed, and does it have springs, and getting rid of the technology, and thinking about some lavender essential oils, or...
What can I say, just even if you've got an old mattress that's moved houses a few times and maybe carried a few billion colonies of mold from a different house that you used to live in.
Dust mites.
Dust mites. And I mean, mattresses should be turfed frequently. Every
How often have you read is...
I've read differing. I mean, it depends how hardcore you are, but I would say every couple of years, surely.
I once heard someone say, oh, you can get a new mattress every 10 years. And I'm like, 10 years? Like, that's way too long.
You would think, yeah. Because you sweat into them and...
Exactly.
Other stuff. So, it depends. If you get a Semina, you wouldn't get one every 2 years.
No, that's definitely...
The mortgage bed.
For sure,
the mortgage mattress.
Yeah.
But starting with just going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. Like, Melissa's hilarious. She literally wakes up at 5:50 every morning without an alarm clock.
Without an alarm. My body just goes, bing, done, and I'm wide awake.
And I'm like, I need another 15 minutes and then I'm fine. We're always 15 minutes apart. We also have a little alarm clock over here, which is called a sun clock by Philips, I think it is.
Sun lamp.
Sun lamp. And it basically, if you set the alarm for 6:30, for example, at 6 o'clock, it will start emitting red light for the room, which is like a sunset. So your body, your skin... Sunrise, sorry. Your skin, which is a bigger receptor of light than your eyes, will detect that and start changing out of the sleep mode you're in, and it will switch into creating more cortisol and slowing down the production of melatonin. So you actually start waking up, basically. Yeah.
I also forgot to mention that we have block-out blinds.
Very important.
Very, very important. So, this completely blocks out all of the light. In this place, we've got street lamps outside. I mean, ideally when we're in our Noosa place, we can sleep with the blinds open and let the moonlight on our skin, and we can wake with the sun. But here we can't do that.
Do you want to explain why that is a little bit? Because of just in brief, it's important because if you're in nature and you're getting the moonlight, then that's actually very nourishing for you, because it's setting your circadian rhythms, because it's the right frequency of light when you're sleeping. Similar
sort of concept to the sun exposure on your skin and vitamin D production. Yeah. Same with the moonlight, getting the moonlight on your skin. Yeah. And it's really great for women and regulating our hormone cycle. So, there's been times where I've wanted to sync my cycle with the moon, and so we've slept with the blinds open, and Nick's got his eye mask on, so he's all good, but even though it still comes through your skin. But that has helped sync me to the moon cycle, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and the light that comes from artificial lights is a blue light. So if that's coming in your room at night, then your body thinks it's daytime. So it upsets your circadian rhythm. So that's why people get confused with, well, why do you need to block out the light if there's moonlight at night? Well, they're different frequencies of light, which probably leads us into one, I think it's probably one of the biggest hacks that we've introduced, which has been at night wearing blue blocking sunglasses.
We should have got them. They're out in the lounge room. Damn it.
Maybe I will. At the end of the show, I'll go and get them. But blue blockers are glasses with a yellow lens.
For those who follow me on social media, you would have seen
them. Yeah. Seen them. And the best brand that we found, only because they look cool.
Because it's all about looking cool in your blue blockers.
Swannies or Swanick. It's an Australian guy actually, lives in LA. He developed them, and very big with the biohacking community. And
we can link to these in the show notes too.
Yeah, so basically whenever there is fake light, so if I'm in the bathroom in the morning, first thing, that light that I turn on is not the light that my body should be receiving. So when I brush my teeth, I put my blue blockers on. I know it sounds crazy, but the first light I want my body to see is the sunlight. So I'll go out, we will, and Leo as well, and we'll literally do sun gazing for 1 to 3 minutes, and you've got to think of your eyes as a clock, as opposed to vision. They are actually a clock. And if you go out and you get that frequency of sunlight into your eye at that time of day, then it tells your body it's morning. And boom.
And wakes you up.
Circadian rhythm is set. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. If you set your circadian rhythm in the morning, then your body's going to know by 7, 8 o'clock, it's time to start shutting down. And that's why wearing blue blockers at night becomes so important, because you've told it in the morning that it's morning time. So it's saying, okay, 12 hours from now, I'm going to start preparing for sleep. But if you're in a house full of lights, it goes, hang on, I'm supposed to be preparing for sleep, but I'm now in daytime because it's confused with the blue light.
And your body's like, what's going on?
And when we say blue light, it's basically any light that you can see in your house.
From your computer, from your phone, anything, and that's why looking at your screens just before bed stimulates you and keeps you awake. So there's other things that you can do. You can get the app Flux, which is a free app that you can put on your computer, and it takes out the blue light. And then you can also turn on night mode on your iPhone. Night shift, which again takes out the blue light in your phone. I have that on all day. It kind of like gives your screen like a tiny yellow tinge, and I have that on all day just because I don't want to be absorbing blue light. I want, my body to get as much natural light as possible. Any other sleep hacks?
I'm exhausted.
Ready
for a nap.
I know.
After that spiel.
All right, number 2. What's the second most important
I have to
biohack?
I mean, we're talking about getting into good shape, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about?
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, when you are getting into good shape, you want to fuel your body the right way. And so what you eat, you are what you eat, is an incredibly true statement, because we are 90% bacteria. That's what we're made up of. So the bacteria we have in our body is incredibly important. So, because we don't actually digest food. Bacteria digests it and then gives us the nutrients. So you've got to have the right bacteria in your body. So I think working on your microbiome is a huge thing. And there's a podcast, I believe, that you did with Kirsty Worth, which is phenomenal. And she's our personal microbiome coach, which is a blessing.
She's amazing, and she has such an amazing story. She's unbelievable. And basically, we've been doing gut healing work with her for a really, really long time, and we'll continue to do it because it's so important.
It is. I mean, it's gut health has to be where you start, because we know if we ever get a bit stressed about work or something happens, we're a bit stressed, it suppresses your digestion. Now, when you're not digesting well, then you have what in Ayurvedic they would call armor buildup, which is basically
fire.
Well, the armor is the undigested food. Right. Which breeds pathogens. And when you breed pathogens, then your good bacteria gets out of whack. And when your good bacteria is not doing so well, you actually don't feel great.
You feel depressed.
Exactly. So 90% of your serotonin comes from your gut, not from your brain.
90% of your serotonin comes from your gut. So often when we feel depressed, the first thing people do is, I'm depressed, something's wrong with me, I'm broken, go get antidepressants. That's what I did many years ago.
Because it's all about the head.
Apparently. But it was my gut. And it wasn't until I healed my gut that the depression actually lifted.
But you still notice that when there is moments of pressure, because let's face it, she does a lot, she achieves a lot. And it's only natural that when you're a very driven person and you're achieving for big things, that you're going to face pressure. It's just part of it.
And mainly pressure I put on myself.
It is, and
it's not pressure from anyone else.
No, apart from me.
Yeah. Him.
But you'd probably say yourself that even though you've done a lot of work in your gut, there's times that when there is more pressure and a bit more stress, and you start feeling like, I'm flat, I don't feel so good. And you'll even say to me, I feel a bit depressed today. What's going on? And we've sort of got rid of the stigma of the word depressed because it's like, well, look at the word. It just means you are down, basically.
Down, flat,
And that's fine.
energy low, like whatever you want to call it. There's no dogma around it. It's, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I say flat.
And we can always pretty much every time pinpoint, go, well, how's your gut feeling? It's like, it hasn't been so good.
Yeah.
Haven't been digesting as well. And so stress does that to you. So coming back to microbiome, having a robust microbiome makes you getting through those periods of stress. It makes you so much more resilient. And I think the days of just going out and randomly buying a probiotic is done. I mean, you have to get specific advice around what you actually need. Like, what do you have in your gut? What don't you have in your gut? And get advice around that stuff, because it's actually kind of dangerous to just throw random probiotics in your body.
Yeah, if you haven't done a stool analysis and really uncovered what is going on for you, because we're all unique and we're all really, really different. I did that. I would go to health food shops and just take any probiotic off the shelf.
In Health Plus or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I would just take, and then I'd always mix it and just take a different one, spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars because probiotics are not cheap. And little did I know that most of them I wasn't even absorbing because I didn't have the right bacteria to actually absorb it.
And to colonize.
So it was just going straight through me. So I was wasting my money and my time and my energy and prolonging my healing because I was just being too stubborn and going, no, I don't need any health advice. I can do it myself. But I recommend everyone going and getting guidance. Kirsty Worth is amazing, and we'll link to her in the show notes. She is amazing, but it's not for the faint-hearted. Her 6-month gut healing protocol is intense. It is intense. There are daily enemas, coffee enemas, garlic enemas, yogurt enemas, there's saunas, there's baths, there's a very, very intense diet. Not intense, it's a very, there's a particular diet, there's absolutely no sugar, it's not for the faint-hearted, and she will actually fire clients who aren't serious about it. So, it's really important that it's something that you want to do. But like Nick said, it's so important. Your gut microbiome is so important. And for those of you who have actually heard mine and Kirsty's podcast, we talk about in it that you actually attract someone with the same microbiome as you. And if you look at mine and Nick's stool analysis next to each other.
Awesome, so sexy.
So sexy. They are almost identical. We both have literally almost zero bifido. We both have very low, good E. coli. Mm-hmm. We both have higher Clostridium than normal. And it's really interesting. So if you want to call in a partner, a life partner that has guts of steel, as I like to say, then you want to sort your own gut out first, because we are 90% bacteria. And if you want to make babies with someone, you want their gut to be humming along beautifully, and you want your gut to be humming along beautifully, because a leaky gut or bad microbiome is going to... Oh, here's your tummy's going. Speaking of bacteria, it's talking to us. Yeah. If you want to create a superhuman baby one day with someone, the most important thing and the most important prep that you need to do is your gut. Because whatever you don't heal within yourself, your own gut stuff, like if you have high mercury or any sort of imbalances, you're going to pass that on to your kids. And in order for you to really thrive and be your most vibrant, energetic self, then this is so important. We've got to sort this microbiome and gut health out. So that's definitely second most important thing.
And I was going to say that the way we do that is through cultured foods.
Yes.
And they're using very specific cultures from Kirsty. She has her own formula of culture, which is mainly ancestral strains of bacteria, which if you don't have, you literally just can't function 100% as a human being without these strains of bacteria. There's one called Bifidobacterium longum, which
we have Zero of.
Zero.
Zero. She actually said to us, I don't know how you are even like happy humans. Like you're secreting no serotonin. Like how are you?
Yeah, it's all uphill from here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Uphill? Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
It's all up from here?
It's all up.
Up, yeah.
Up, yeah.
So, we ferment coconut water every day. We use an organic one called Raw Sea, which is Pete Evans is associated with. And we culture yogurt, so we use coconut cream for that. And beetroot, which is really, really important for the whole biliary function, so bile, essentially. So important. Cultured beetroot, my God, is like, if there is a superfood, it is cultured beetroot. I'd put it above just about everything else.
Look at the colour of it.
It's stunning.
The colour, like, it's... You just look at it and you go, it's got to be good for my blood, everything.
And then we culture Granny Smith apples because the pectin in the apple helps get rid of heavy metals as you're going through this sort of microbiome work and you're detoxing heavy metals. And it binds to heavy metals and takes it out, which is amazing. What else do we ferment?
Garlic.
We ferment garlic so that it makes it easy to digest because it's a FODMAP food, which means it's got certain sugars in it which are hard to digest sometimes.
How do you say it?
Fructooligosaccharides, isn't it?
Something like that. I don't know. We're going to butcher it. We also ferment carrots.
Carrots. We ferment basically anything that has any amount of sugar is fermented because this protocol is about being in ketosis as well.
And zero sugar because sugar feeds candida. And we're trying to get rid of all of the yeast and candida. So you want to not feed any of those naughty bugs.
And of course that relaxes over time. But at the moment, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of cultured foods. And of course, adding into that is bone broth. I mean, I know you always say it, but everyone should have bone broth every single day, full stop, unless you've got a histamine issue and there's stuff going on there. But bone broth, full stop. That's just absolutely crucial.
All right, what's number 3?
Number 3.
Third, biohacking. Getting into shape.
Look, I think it's hard to go past movement. I mean, it's very hard to get into good shape without moving your body. And for me, it takes many shapes, I think. And one of them is doing nothing, and that's meditating. And I've been guilty over the last probably 6 months of not meditating as much as I used to. And it's really reflected in my personality and being more aggressive.
Just a little bit.
Let's not go there. But definitely meditation, the art of not doing something, increases everything else you do in your day, including your physical activity. So I'd start the day by doing nothing, which is meditating. And not that you're doing nothing, you are actually meditating, which you're getting deep, still rest. But in terms of movement, you've got to just pick what works for your body. And I actually really don't like intense training. I had to do it for this music video. I don't really like intense training. My body doesn't feel great doing it. I don't mind if it's short, but extended intensity is not my thing. But it did get me into good shape, having said that. But for me personally, and I'm male, so it's a bit different for females, but I love doing some sort of weightlifting. And I think bearing weight is something everyone needs to do. I mean, let's face it, doing a squat is bearing weight. But
a body weight squat you're talking about.
Yeah, doing a body weight squat.
Yeah, push-ups, lunges.
For me, it's kettlebells because they're dynamic and I'm not locked into lying on a bench, sitting in a gross gym. I'm just down outside here in the outdoor gym with a kettlebell and then I go for a swim. And so I found ways of hacking my exercise so it's more efficient. So one of the things I do is just getting down to the outdoor gym, carrying a kettlebell is 5 minutes of intense exercise that I've already done just to get there. And I'm lifting it and moving it around and, So I think movement's just really important, but finding what works for you. I think walking on a treadmill in a gym is the single dumbest thing that I could ever think of. And if you do it, I'm sorry, but it is crazy. Get outside, walk in nature.
Barefoot
if you can, absolutely.
On the beach, because you're grounding and you're getting all of those negative ions. You may as well, if you're going to walk, take off your shoes. Get on the grass. It absolutely blows my mind when I see people running on the beach with trainers on. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's crazy. you want to be absorbing all of those amazing negative ions, and get your feet in the ocean. It's just so healing and cleansing. Diving in the ocean, we call it an aura cleanse. Every morning we go and have an aura cleanse, and we dive in, and it literally feels like it cleanses your aura. And we are so incredibly grateful that we live on the beach, so we can do movement outside in the sunshine with the vitamin D getting soaked up and absorbed into our skin. And it's not only does it feel amazing, but it's imperative for your health. Like, you can't absorb calcium if you're low in vitamin D, and it's this ripple effect, and it affects all these other different areas in your life. So if you're low in vitamin D, that's another thing. We've really got to look at that, making sure that you're getting some direct exposure on your skin, not through a window or your car. It's really got to be that direct exposure. And be smart about it. Like, I'm not saying go and lay in the sun at midday. Just be smart about it. We all have different shades. We know what works for us and how long we can sit out for, and whether morning's better, afternoon. Just be smart. Like, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, we can't all lay in the sun all day like you.
Yeah.
She can, literally. It's unbelievable. So I would say that movement obviously is really, really important for getting into great shape. And the truth is, when you're in good shape, you feel really good.
And it the serotonin.
Serotonin, and it filters that feeling that you get of showing up each day and doing your movement. And for me, it starts with yoga, like just for 10 or 15 minutes, just to stretch my body in the morning a little bit. And I'm getting more into yoga now as a foundation of my movement, because it's just a bit more gentle as well. And I want to start moving into more longevity practices as opposed to aesthetic practices. Now that I've done my last shirt off music video, I can...
Yeah. Do you guys believe that it's
I'm
the
not
last
doing
one?
anymore.
Yeah, right.
I'm done.
I don't believe
You
you.
blame my director. But so movement. So find what's good for you, but be really clever about it, because for me, putting it in the calendar, number one, but having a plan. Because if I don't have a plan for my movement, I just flounder and I feel crap.
So what kind of plan? Like, what's a plan for you?
Well, it changes all the time, but I mean, at the moment I do calisthenics, kettlebells, walking.
So you mean scheduling it in every day? That's your plan?
You know that day you're doing that.
This. Yeah. I thought you meant a plan as in, I want to lose X amount by this date.
I mean, look, it's great to have goals, for sure. But I think if you're eating well, you're taking care of your microbiome, you're being smart about what you eat, and you're moving your body, you're going to start looking good.
And feeling good, most importantly.
Feeling amazing.
And that's, for me as well, I can't do any movement that doesn't feel good. I cannot do it. Like, if you said to me, come to a boxing class, there's no way. I don't enjoy it. It's not my thing. So for me, I have to find things that really light me up. And that's, Pilates, walking on the beach, yoga, doing some high intensity interval training, some squats, those sorts of things. But it's all about really finding what works for you and what makes you feel good and what you can enjoy. It's so important. We have to enjoy what we're doing. Otherwise, don't bother. Don't waste your time. Go do something else. Go do an art class, or do something that's going to feed your soul and fill you up in another way.
And I do think if you're going to do exercise, and I'm sorry to any gym owners, but I really do believe that you've got to do it outdoors, because you just don't want to be exposing yourself to artificial light more than you need to be. And gymnasiums tend to do that, not always. And I think just find ways of doing your movement outdoors or in spaces that have beautiful natural light. Because that's an hour or however long it is, half an hour, where you're in nature and you're getting vitamin D and you're earthing and you're doing all those sorts of byproducts of being outdoors.
Most yoga schools are okay. They've got a lot of natural light, and
they're planned well.
Yeah, they're quite good. But yeah, if it's a nice day, we're outside doing our movement. We're doing yoga out in the sunshine, or doing walking in the sunshine, or weights in the sunshine. When it's raining, we might go into a class, but it's good just to really utilize that time. Get breathing in the fresh air, getting the sunshine on your skin, killing like 3 birds with one stone. It's amazing.
And I think that probably feeds into the 4th one.
Yeah, we're up to 4.
I was just about to start talking about mindset, but it actually is probably its own thing, because when you're doing a combination of all these things and you're feeling really good, that feeling tends to filter down into every area of your life. So you get into bed with your partner, you're feeling great about yourself, you're feeling sexy, you're feeling vital,
confident,
you can make love. And making love with your partner makes a freaking huge difference to your life. I would say the majority of people probably don't make enough love, and you got to make it. You got to do it. It doesn't happen by magic, And feeling good up here translates...
here.
Well, in your gut and physically and everything you're doing helps the mindset, So that will filter into your love life, it'll filter into your career, it'll filter into the way you exercise, it'll filter in the way you eat. I should talk about that actually, because eating's been an interesting one for me, and something I've never really spoken about. But I will talk about it in a minute. But so I think mindset's incredibly important, because all these things make you feel freaking great, and it has an uplifting effect on every area of your life.
And something Nick and I consciously do is we move toward those things and those people and those activities that make us feel good. And those things and activities and people that don't make us feel good, we move away from. And that is something that not a lot of people actually do. It's like you touching the iron when you know it's hot and expecting to not burn yourself, and over you continue to go and touch the iron. It's like, that's crazy. That's actually insanity. So move toward those things that really make you feel your best. Move toward those things that make you light up, because then you're going to be the most confident, radiant, vibrant version of yourself, and that, like Nick said, is going to ripple out to every area of your life.
Well said.
Thanks, baby.
Number 5?
Number 5.
Number 5, I'd actually probably throw detoxification in there. And that comes in a few different forms. I think EMF is a huge toxin that we're exposed to, and I think we'll get to see the effects of EMF on us probably in 10 years from now, So just bearing in mind that it's probably really not great for you, and that's already been proven, then be really smart about your EMF exposure and detoxify that. So have time in the day without your phone, which we've started doing more and more of. And
turn your Wi-Fi off at night.
Turn your Wi-Fi off at night. We spoke about the bedroom environment and having earthing and these sorts of things, which can help with that. But just being really conscious around Wi-Fi exposure. There is a really good case you can get for your phone, which is what we use, by a company called Defender Shield, and I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes for them. But Defender Shield locks out 99.9999% of radiation from the phone. It's an actual case where you actually have to close it, because unless you've put a little sticker on the back or something, I really don't know if that's going to work.
We used to have those too.
Excuse me, yeah. This is actually closing the case and literally just blocking it all. That's the first case that I've had that I've felt an actual difference physically. So that's a really great thing to use, because we're all around our phones so much.
They're on us 24/7.
All the time, If you want to make a baby and you're looking after your reproductive health, having it anywhere near that area.
In your handbag, which is right near your hip.
In your back pocket.
Men in their pockets, near there.
It's shocking, right?
I know.
So EMF, but also just the environmental toxins that we're exposed to now, but the stuff we were exposed to growing up. I mean, we grew up in this sort of industrial revolution where we're eating Cocoa Pops and fruit. Well, I ate Cocoa Pops and Fruity Loops, and we have a laugh all the time. Like, what's the worst thing we ate growing up? And
we try and out each other.
I went through a period of pretty much living on, what was it called? Daily Juice, that orange juice, which was fresh orange juice. It's just
freshly squeezed.
Just a pure sugar bomb.
Yeah.
And I'd have like half a loaf of tip-top white bread with peanut butter on it.
Healthy, babes.
Bit of mold from the peanuts thrown in with some industrialized bleached white flour and sugar with more sugar on top. I mean, it was horrific. You know, it makes you wonder what that does to your body. So we're dealing with what we did to ourselves before now, and we're dealing with the stuff that we can't stop, like the air we breathe. You know, and then the toxins in our water and in the ocean and all these things that are very hard to get away from. So for me, there's a few things that I do which I love, and that is infrared saunas. I think they're really important. I do them daily, and I use a near infrared as opposed to a far infrared.
What's the difference?
It's a different frequency of light, and I find that far infrared is the most popular and most common, I would say.
That's what everyone's doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's far infrared. That's what you'll see everywhere, and we have one here. We have a far infrared sauna as well, which will have to get sold. Otherwise, I might get in trouble because Melissa lost her laundry to the sauna.
I have no laundry anymore. But we're getting rid of that one because we've got the other one.
But far infrared, it's a different frequency of light. But the benefits of infrared are that you detox about 7 times more than just a normal sweat from a hot sauna or a steam sauna. So you're detoxifying at a cellular level. It's a lot deeper. But the far infrared can, I believe, have a draining effect on your mitochondria. The mitochondria are the little battery cells inside your cells, which give you energy. Energy, yeah. And that's something I learned after purchasing that. And so we've switched to near infrared, which is totally different. And it literally, it's almost like having a coffee. Like you sort of wake up when you come out of it. It energizes you.
Very different feeling. And from having both, I would get into the far infrared and walk out feeling like I'd been hit by a semi-trailer. My mitochondria was just completely zapped, where Nick kind of would come out feeling just normal. And when I come out of the other sauna, the near infrared sauna, I feel energized.
And we did find a great one too, actually, which made it easier, because near infrared are very expensive and massive. But we found a company called Sauna Space, and it literally converted our shower into a near infrared sauna, which is super cool. And
so now I get my laundry back. Yes.
So and also I learned that far infrared can cause fibrosis of your muscles. So it sort of kind of sucks stuff out of your muscles. And I noticed that one of the things was that you need to make sure you're keeping on top of any loss of range of movement from frequent infrared sauna. And I noticed some tightness coming through my hamstrings I'd never had before because I'm quite flexible. And pain, and I thought, this is really unusual for me. So since I've stopped using that, near infrared, that's getting better. And the next one is doing Epsom salt baths, and because that gives you magnesium, which we all lose. No one pretty much has enough magnesium. It's just one of those things that's lacking in our food, and it gets drained out of you through the environment. So
and stress. So Epsom salt baths for detoxification and for magnesium absorption are really great. And they feel amazing.
Yeah, they're great.
Put some essential oils in there, some coconut oil at the end, and just soak it up. It's so beautiful. So they're 5 pretty epic biohacks for health and getting into shape. Should we run through them again?
I can't remember them, but yes. Sleep.
Sleep is number 1. Biohacking your sleep. Biohacking your microbiome. Biohacking your movement. Biohacking detoxification and your mindset. So if you really want to feel your most vital, your most confident, your strongest, healthiest, and get your body into peak performance and peak shape, these are the top 5 things that you guys can do today. I'd just go through those 5 things and pick one thing from each of them. Maybe the first thing is turning your Wi-Fi off at night, or booking in to see Kirsty, or starting to really go to bed at the same time every night, or just starting to do your movement outside, or having an Epsom salt bath every night. Like all of these things, they don't cost a lot of money, and they're easy for you to do and implement into your everyday life, because ultimately we all deserve to feel our best. We all deserve to thrive and to really get the most out of this earth suit that we've been gifted for this lifetime. You don't have to feel pain. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to feel tired and exhausted. That's not your birthright. Your birthright is to feel the best and most vital version of yourself, because then when you feel that, you can go out into the world and show up as the best you. And that's ultimately when you're of most service to the world, when you are your fullest version of yourself. Do you agree?
Of course.
Yay. Well, I am going to really up the ante on all of my biohacks. You've inspired me, as always. You are my biggest inspiration and my favorite Pillow Talk buddy ever. Thank you.
Only Pillow Talk.
My only Pillow Talk buddy.
Let's just be clear about that.
My only Pillow Talk buddy. And thank you for all of your knowledge. Thank you for all of your wisdom. Thank you for being a perfectionist, even though it sometimes annoys me. And thank you for teaching me and inspiring me. You're always learning. One thing I love about you so much is that you are so hungry for information. Nick reads a couple of books a week. He is listening to podcasts daily. He is always learning. He is just so hungry for information, and I love...
So are you, by the way.
I am too, but I don't read as many books as him. He reads a couple a week. It takes me a little bit longer than that. But I'm so grateful that we've created this space where you can share all of your knowledge and wisdom and tips and tricks and biohacks, because the world needs it. So I am so grateful, honey, and can't wait to have you back on Pillow Talk. And everyone, go check out Bones. It's now live, which is so awesome, and I'm so proud of you. Go check out his sexy bod. Pretty handsome.
Thanks, baby.
Awesome.
Cuddle?
Sure.
All right.
Pass me my Marushka beads, baby.
Oh, there you go, darling.
Thank
Which
you.
ones would you like? These
The
ones
one-
were,
I know, the Blessed by the Balinese monk.
they were blessed. These ones were in a movie,
Very moving,
so I'll wear those ones.
Alright. Do you want me to sprinkle some lavender on your pillow?
Oh yeah, sure, thank you. Just 2 drops is fine. So I find 3 just a bit,
It's a bit
overpowering.
overpowering, isn't it? Yeah, you
And
do.
let's not forget my door to sleep on. Because that is where it's all at.
Do you reckon people think we're weird?
No. I don't. Why would you think we're weird?
They actually look really handsome on you.
Should we meditate?
Let's do it.
Let's do some yoga first.
Done.
Actually, the Shakti mat.
We forgot to mention the Shakti
Why
mat.
don't you go and show the people the Shakti mat? This is the,
I forgot about the Shakti mat.
yeah. Yeah, you lie on that.
It's like really prickly.
It's pure agony, actually. Melissa can't even do it.
I can't, it kills me.
But I think we should both have a lie on this tonight.
Done.
But I might do some rolling.
Foam rolling.
Yeah, no, because it's for the fascia release. No, it helps. No, seriously.
I know. I
Helps
can't take
relax
you
your-
seriously with the dog to sleep on your third eye like that.
Well, yeah, that's the way I roll.
Lucky I love you. Lucky we're married. Lucky you did that before we got married, after we got married.
Why don't we both have some clay, some bentonite clay as well? No, it's important. No, just in flush.
Activated charcoal.
Both?
Done.
Double dump.
Let's do it.
Yeah.